Hello and welcome to this month's Vibrational Activation Wisdom Within Heart-Mind Alignment. We are so excited to share with you. We recently put together our webinar called Heart Wisdom Alchemy, and within that we shared some powerful stuff and we talked about some blockages and we gave you a powerful practice to use. And we got that out there and started sharing it with everyone. And it felt like we needed to go deeper. And that's what this vibrational activation is going to do. We're going to go deeper on the patterns, blocking us from the wisdom of our heart, our higher self, that inner guidance. We're going to have an activation that is specifically designed to alchemize some of those energies in which we started blocking our inner wisdom. We're going to create that connection, the heart-mind connection, and bring in some of that self-compassion along the way. And of course, we'll have more self-practice techniques that you can utilize whenever you feel called to. So if you haven't already, perhaps you might feel called to the Heart Wisdom Alchemy, but knowing that this is really going to go a lot deeper than that webinar did. So welcome, and I'm going to pass it off to my beautiful co-host and business partner, Angela Shakti Sparks.
All right, thanks, Amanda. So yes, welcome. I'm going to kick off our discussion here with something that's actually been coming up for both Amanda and I lately, and that is having this where it's like a blank mind. And at first, when it started happening, I was getting frustrated because I was like, what's going on? I felt like my intuition wasn't as strong or was faltering and just really didn't feel like I had that connection. But what I realized was that it was actually calling me to come out of so much of that thinking mind. And yes, we have the intuition that comes through the third eye, but when we can bring that down and bring in the inner wisdom from the heart, it's so much clearer and stronger. And so I also teach yoga and some fitness classes. And so when I put together my outlines for the class, I usually have a structure, and sometimes I go into a little more detail with what we're going to be doing. And that this is when I was first noticing this blank mind. I'd sit down and it was like nothing would come to me. And then I just got this message. It's like, well, like drop into your heart and just allow it to come through, some ideas, and just have a structure, but not so much all the details. And then when I followed this guidance, and then in my class, so I dropped into it, and I was like, okay, just work on, like here's the theme to work on, or here's, like, so hip opening, for example. So here's what to work on, but don't worry about coming up with every single pose. And then when I was in class, then I set the intention before class, same thing. I dropped back in, and then I asked to be guided by that inner wisdom. And it's actually really magical, because then what happens is, say I have some people show up for class that day that aren't as skilled as at yoga. So I am adjusting in the moment with what is called for in that situation. And I think that's a great example of how, when we learn to trust this, what is the best at that moment for whoever's involved is what will come through.
I love that. And it also makes me think of some of the videos that we've done on YouTube, like our cosmic guidance videos, and we'll talk about them beforehand, and we'll, start to set like an intention, and we're like, okay, maybe we talk about who says what, and we sit there and we're like, nothing's coming through. And it's because we are really getting like, okay, what the overall intention is, and you're not going to get the guidance until you start the video. And it's been pretty magical to see what comes through some of those guidance videos.
Yeah, I love that. And it's magical at the same time. We are having to learn to trust it, right? Because it's like, okay, we're just gonna get on the video and we don't know what we're gonna talk about really or what we're gonna say. We just have the topic. And so it's also that process of learning to trust, and that as you do the practice, that it flows easier and easier the more you do it and the more you can trust.